Innovation determines which economies thrive in the 21st century. Yet, here is the paradox. While global innovation capacity have never been higher, most countries struggle to harness the growth effectively. Today, we are launching the Innovation Capabilities Outlook 2026, a comprehensive mapping of global innovation capabilities developed by WIPO in partnership with Harvard Growth Lab. This is not just another report. It is a strategic tool that reveals the hidden network driving innovation success worldwide.
Our analysis of 2.5 billion data points across patents, publications, trademarks, and exports reveals a fundamental truth. Innovation success isn't about isolated breakthroughs. It's about how capabilities connect and reinforce each other. We have mapped more than 2,500 distinct innovation capabilities across science, technology, entrepreneurship, and production. What we discover is striking. The most valuable innovations emerge from complex ecosystems where multiple capabilities intersect. But here's the challenge. Innovation remains strikingly concentrated. A small number of leading economies account for the vast majority of global innovation output, while most countries contribute less than 1% to any dimension. This concentration poses barriers and offers opportunities. Our data reveals a tale of two innovation worlds. Fast-growing Asian economies, led by China, India, and Vietnam, have cracked the code. They consistently achieve what we call smart diversification by adding new and complex capabilities to their skill set. These three economies were able to do this in 8 out of the last 10 years. On the other hand, most other economies face a harsh reality. 46% haven't meaningfully diversified their capabilities during the last 20 years. 70% fail to achieve complexity gains every year, and only 10% of economies fulfill their technological potential. The implications are clear. Generating innovations is no longer sufficient. Success requires mastering the delicate balancing act of diversifying into complex skills while maintaining intensity in high-value areas. And perhaps our most striking discovery is that the scale of missed opportunities is high. Economies have untapped potential hidden in their capabilities. Globally, every year they have the potential of producing 26% more technologies, 15% more entrepreneurial innovations, 17% more product-based innovations, and 12% additional scientific discoveries. This isn't random. It follows clear patterns. Europe, for instance, has untapped potential in the most sophisticated technological fields, holding around 90% of missed opportunities in advanced manufacturing, electronics, and chemistry. Europe has the scientific foundation but struggles with technological translation. East Asia shows a commercialization challenge. The economies of this region have untapped potential in mid-complexity entrepreneurial domains. Latin America and Africa have the challenge to bridge their scientific research and production capabilities into technological and entrepreneurial innovations.
These findings change how we think about innovation policy. First, no one-size-fits-all solutions. Successful strategies must align with each economy's development level and existing capabilities. Second, the most effective approach combines two strategies: smart diversification, expanding into accessible but sophisticated fields, and smart capability management, intensifying focus on high-value skills while protecting them. Third, targeted intervention can yield massive returns. Europe needs better commercialization infrastructure, Asia needs stronger entrepreneurial linkages, developing economies need strategic capability building. These findings reveal fundamental patterns about how innovation capabilities develop and how they spread globally. But what do they mean for our understanding of economic development? How do these insights connect to broader questions about growth, competitiveness, and the future of the global economy? To explore these deeper implications, I'm delighted to introduce Professor Ricardo Hausmann, founder and director of Harvard's Growth Lab and architect of the economic complexity framework that underpins this analysis. Ricardo has spent decades studying how countries build productive capabilities and transform their economies. His pioneering work on the product space and economic complexity laid the conceptual foundation for what we are presenting today. Ricardo, the floor is yours to reflect on these findings and what they tell us about the future of economic development.
Well, this is a fantastic piece of work. It tries to measure what are the capabilities that countries have in the innovation space. To make something, the most important ingredient is to know how to make it. It's the knowledge that that product or that service embodies. Where is that knowledge? How do you mobilize it? How do you create it? That is a central aspect of an economy. Now, the problem is that these innovation capabilities are dispersed in a society. There are some capabilities that are in firms that are doing things. There are other capabilities that are in research centers and in other organizations that are in the business of creating knowledge. And that knowledge creation typically comes from people who came out of universities where there are professors who also do research. So combining efforts in science, efforts in technology, efforts in entrepreneurship, and efforts in production, it typically goes through outside of markets. And what this report highlights is the diversity, the complexity of that network knowledge that each economy has. And it allows you to figure out which things are in what we like to call the adjacent possible of your capabilities, things that are not too far away from what you already can master, and which ones are more impactful in terms of how you would be able to incorporate them in the things you do.
Ricardo, can you give me an example of a technological challenge that an economy faced and could overcome?
Well, to tell you the truth, I don't know if I can give you one example. I can give you hundreds of examples, but just a few. Many agricultural products are affected by pests that need to be controlled. Who better than you can figure out what are the pests in your location and how can you try to control them? That knowledge doesn't pre-exist, it has to be developed. But shoes, for example, change all the time. There are new materials that allow your shoes not to get wet, to be breathable, to be lighter. How are you going to incorporate these different materials into new designs so that you can have better shoes? If you're talking about agricultural products, maybe there are regions in your country where the product can arrive to market a little bit earlier or a bit later so that you can fetch a better price. So there is knowledge in everything you do, but that knowledge is not necessarily in your own organization, but it is somewhere in the social network of activities that your economy hosts. So where are they and how can you connect that? That is the crux of the matter of innovation policy.
Ricardo, our report contains rich data on how knowledge is deployed in the economy and how it has grown over time. How do you think policymakers can make use of our report and our data?
As the report says, there's no one-size-fits-all. Consequently, you really have to figure out where are the leverage points where you can act. For example, the report says that some regions of the world in Africa and Latin America have a good scientific base, but that scientific base is disconnected from production, from entrepreneurship, from technological development. In other parts, you might find that there's a good mastery of the product, but not of the technologies that underpin quality in that product. So the report facilitates your ability to figure out where to act. Is it in science policy? Is it in technology policy? Is it in entrepreneurship? Is it in networking these capabilities?
That is the value of this report. It gives you a lot of data about your country in these different domains so that you can figure out how to better connect them.
Thank you, Ricardo. Your insight shows us why this work matters so profoundly for our understanding of development and global competitiveness. What we have presented today represents more than just new data. It is a new lens for understanding how economies can navigate an increasingly complex world. Ricardo's reflection reminds us that behind every statistic, it is a country's aspiration for its people's prosperity and well-being. The partnership between WIPO and Harvard Growth Lab brings together two complementary strengths: WIPO's deep expertise in intellectual property system, legislation, and policy, and the global work on innovation and metrics, and the Growth Lab groundbreaking theoretical framework for understanding economic complexity and capability development. This collaboration has produced something neither institution can have created alone: a comprehensive, actionable system for innovation strategy. As Ricardo has shown us today, these are not just academic insights. They are strategic tools for transformation. Countries can now see not just where they are, but where they can realistically go and how they can get there. The Innovation Capabilities Outlook 2026 marks the beginning of annual intelligence that will track these patterns, revealing new opportunities as they emerge and monitoring progress as economies implement these insights. The innovation economy waits for no one. The economy that masters these insights today will shape tomorrow's competitive landscape. The Innovation Capabilities Outlook 2026 and in underlying data is available from now. Whether you are designing national strategy, planning corporate investment, or exploring new markets, this intelligence can transform your approach with tools you did not have before. The future belongs to those who can navigate complexity with clarity. Today, we have given the world a compass to find the way. Thank you for joining us for this launch.